The greatest wounds don't always come from men. They come from women who smile to your face and cut you behind your back. Silent aggression isn't loud, it's subtle. The fake compliments, the whispers, the deliberate exclusion, the constant competition. And most won't admit it exists because women are expected to always support each other. But here's the truth, not every woman is your ally. Some are your rival, hiding in plain sight. And if you don't learn to see it, it will eat away at your confidence and your strength. The most dangerous attacks are not the ones you see coming. They're the ones wrapped in velvet disguised as kindness. Women are masters of communication, and that's exactly why silent aggression between women cuts so deep. It's not always about screaming or throwing shade directly in your face. It's the sly remark, the carefully chosen words, the fake smile hiding an insult. And the favorite weapon? Backhanded compliments and subtle put-downs. Think about it. How many times has someone told you, "Oh, you look great for your age," or "Wow, I would never have the confidence to wear something like that." On the surface, it's a compliment, but dig deeper and you realize it's an attack. It's saying, "You're old, but I guess you're trying," or "That outfit is too much and you're bold enough to make a fool of yourself in it." It's poison delivered in sugarcoating, and most women smile back, laugh it off, and pretend it doesn't sting. That's exactly why silent aggression thrives, because too many people stay silent in return. Here's the truth. When you let these subtle put-downs slide, you give permission for more. You teach the aggressor that they can keep throwing their daggers, and you'll just keep taking them. Silent aggression survives on your silence. It doesn't require your approval, only your lack of response. And that's where most women lose their power. They want to keep the peace, avoid drama, and so they swallow the insult, nod their head, and go home replaying the comment in their mind. But guess what? While you're stewing in silence, the other woman is walking away satisfied that she got under your skin. She feels in control. So how do you break this cycle? You don't need to start a public fight. You don't need to clap back with equal venom. But you do need to call it out in a way that leaves no room for doubt. A simple, direct statement can change the entire dynamic. Someone says, "Oh, you look great for your size," and you respond calmly, "That wasn't a compliment, try again." Or if they say, "That's a bold choice of outfit," you look them straight in the eye and say, "I like it. That's all that matters." You don't argue, you don't explain, you don't bend. You shut the door firmly on their attempt to undermine you. Here's the key. When you address a backhanded compliment, you don't have to sound angry or defensive. You deliver it with composure, with authority, and with clarity. The aggressor is expecting you to either laugh it off or get flustered. They're not prepared for calm confrontation, and when you do it once, you'll notice something. They'll think twice before trying it again. Because silent aggressors are cowards. They thrive in spaces where their hostility goes unchecked. Shine a light on it, and suddenly their power shrinks. Now, some women will say, "But if I confront every little insult, won't I look bitter or overreacting?" That's the conditioning talking. Society trains women to stay agreeable, to keep harmony at all costs, to not make a scene. And that conditioning is exactly what allows silent aggression to spread like wildfire. Let me be very clear. There is nothing overreacting about defending your dignity. There is nothing petty about refusing to let someone insult you in disguise. Strength is not about being the loudest person in the room. Strength is about knowing when and how to hold people accountable. And here's the tactical part. You don't need to confront every single remark with a full-on statement. Sometimes all it takes is your body language. A raised eyebrow, a calm silence that lingers long enough for them to feel their own words backfire. A slow smile that says, "I heard you, and you're not as clever as you think." Silent aggression can be answered with silent strength. You choose the weapon depending on the moment. But one thing you never do is let it go unacknowledged. not internally, not emotionally. You don't let it sink into your spirit and poison your confidence. Another important tactic: know your audience. If the backhanded compliment comes from a stranger or someone irrelevant to your life, you can dismiss it without wasting energy. Not everyone deserves your response. But if it comes from someone in your circle, someone you see often, or worse, someone in your workplace, that's when you must stand your ground. Because if you allow it there, it will multiply. Silent aggression in environments like work, school, or close social circles can quietly destroy reputations, relationships, and confidence. That's why boundaries are non-negotiable. And let's address the deeper truth. Backhanded compliments often come from insecurity. When another woman sees you confident, put together, strong, and unapologetic, it triggers the parts of herself she hasn't owned yet. So instead of rising, she tries to pull you down. Understand this: her insult says more about her than it ever says about you. That's why your power lies in not internalizing it. You acknowledge the attack, you set a boundary, and you move forward with your head high. Never let someone's insecurity become your identity. Silent aggression between women is real, and it starts small, with these jokes, these little digs dressed up as kindness. But if you allow it, it grows. If you tolerate it, it eats away at your confidence brick by brick. You can't control who takes shots at you, but you can control whether those shots land. Don't let their backhanded compliments be the quiet thieves of your power. Confront them with strength, carry yourself with composure, and send the message loud and clear. You will not be cut down with fake smiles. Silent aggression doesn't always come in the form of words said to your face. Sometimes it comes from words said about you, in rooms you're not even in. And this is where women's silent warfare becomes most destructive: gossip. Gossip is not harmless chatter. It's a weapon. It's one of the most powerful tools of silent aggression because it spreads fast, it sticks to reputations, and it doesn't require the aggressor to ever confront you directly. It's assassination without fingerprints. Let's be real, women are masters of communication. We read tone, we decode body language, we sense energy shifts before a word is spoken. But that same gift of communication is exactly why gossip cuts so deep. It's used to undermine, to isolate, to damage credibility. One whispered rumor can do more harm than a direct insult shouted in public. Because the shout dies in the air, the whisper multiplies. Here's how it works. The gossip network thrives on insecurity. One woman feels threatened by you. Maybe it's your confidence, your looks, your success, or just the fact that you walk into a room and own your space. Instead of confronting you directly, she plants a seed. Did you hear what she said? I don't know, but I heard she's difficult. She thinks she's better than everyone else. These little lines spread like wildfire because people love drama. And by the time it gets back to you, the story is bigger, uglier, and more damaging than when it started. That's the silent aggression of gossip. It allows others to fight battles without ever showing their face. Now here's the tactical truth. You cannot fight every rumor. If you try, you'll exhaust yourself. If you run around explaining, defending, and clarifying every whisper, you look guilty. You look desperate. That's what gossipers want. They want you flustered, off-balanced, wasting energy chasing shadows. You cannot afford to play that game. So what's the move? You starve it. You refuse to feed it with your panic, your over-explanations, your desperate attempts to clear your name. The most powerful response to gossip is composure. People are watching you, not just listening to the whispers, but observing how you carry yourself while the whispers float around. If you walk with confidence, if you stay focused on your purpose, if you refuse to even blink at the rumors, most of them collapse under their own weight. Why? Because lies need oxygen. They need your reaction to stay alive. Don't give them that. But let's be clear, silence does not mean passivity. There's a difference between ignoring gossip and being naive about it. You can't stop people from talking, but you can control your proximity to them. If you know someone is a carrier of whispers, cut them off. Don't let them into your inner circle. Don't share your personal details with people who feed on spreading stories. Women sometimes make the mistake of keeping toxic friends around just to keep the peace. But keeping a gossiper close is like keeping a snake in your house. Don't be surprised when it bites. And let's not romanticize this idea that it's just how women are. No, it's a choice. Women gossip as a weapon when they don't have the courage or the character to confront directly. It's a coward's tactic, and when you recognize it as such, you stop taking it personally. The words they spread aren't about you, they're about their inability to face their own insecurities. That doesn't excuse it, but it does strip it of power. Their gossip is a confession of their weakness. Here's another tactical approach. Own your narrative before they can write it for you. When you walk in authenticity, when your actions consistently match your values, gossip loses its edge. People might whisper, but the people who truly know you won't buy into it. Your consistency is your shield. Over time, it becomes clear who you are and who they are. And the ones who believe the rumors, they were never on your side to begin with. Now you might ask, should I ever confront gossip directly? The answer is yes, but only strategically. If the gossip is minor and the source irrelevant, let it die. But if the gossip threatens your career, your relationships, or your credibility in a serious way, you must address it head on. That doesn't mean chasing every rumor. It means going straight to the source. You don't attack the person spreading it with equal venom. You call it out with authority. I know what you're saying. Don't mistake my silence for weakness. This ends now. Simple, direct, calm. Because gossipers thrive in the dark. They don't know what to do when you drag them into the light. The hardest part about dealing with gossip is emotional control. It hurts. It feels unfair, makes you want to defend yourself, shout your truth, and prove them wrong. But here's the harsh reality. Not everyone deserves access to your truth. Sometimes the most powerful move is to let your results speak louder than any rumor. When you keep winning, when you keep rising, when you keep carrying yourself with strength, the gossip fades into background noise. Success is the loudest response. So let me leave you with this. The gossip network is real, it's ruthless, and yes, it's one of the most common forms of silent aggression women face from other women, but you are not powerless against it. You don't fight whispers with whispers, you fight with boundaries, you fight with composure, you fight with authenticity. Let them talk, let them spread, let them reveal their own character while you keep building yours. Because in the end, gossip only sticks to people who stand still. Keep moving, keep growing, and watch their whispers get smaller in the shadow of your strength. Silent aggression often hides under one of the most common and most toxic masks: fake concern. This is where jealousy slips into the conversation without ever using the word jealousy. Instead, it dresses up as advice, as support, as just being honest. And if you don't know how to spot it, you'll take it in as truth, not realizing it's an attack designed to weaken you. Here's how it usually sounds. I'm just worried you're taking on too much. Do you think you're really ready for that promotion? I just don't want you to be disappointed if it doesn't work out. On the surface, these words look like care. They sound like someone looking out for you. But underneath, it's envy. It's the discomfort of someone watching you rise, succeed, or even dare to try something bigger than they're willing to attempt themselves. And instead of saying, I feel threatened, they frame it as, I'm worried about you. Make no mistake, this isn't love, it's sabotage disguised as concern. Jealousy between women is often silent because direct confrontation would reveal insecurity. So instead, it's hidden under fake encouragement with a twist. Think about it. You tell someone you're starting a business, And instead of excitement, you hear, "That's risky. Do you really think people will buy from you?" Or you share that you're going back to school, and they respond, "At your age? I mean, good for you, but wow." These aren't innocent slips. They're calculated digs meant to make you doubt yourself. And if you're not trained to hear them for what they are, you'll internalize them and start shrinking your vision to fit their comfort zone. Now, let's call this out directly. Jealousy is not about you. It's about the other person's lack. When another woman sees you stepping into something she's too afraid to do, it exposes her own hesitation, and instead of facing herself, she tries to pull you back down to where she is. That's what silent aggression does. It keeps the other woman from having to deal with her own fear by projecting it onto you. So, how do you deal with jealousy in disguise? First, you need awareness. Stop taking every concern at face value. Look at the source. Does this person celebrate your wins consistently, or do they always add a "but" at the end? Do they show excitement when you succeed, or do they immediately shift the spotlight back to themselves? If someone can never let you shine without dimming the light, you're not dealing with concern, you're dealing with envy. Second, you need boundaries. You don't need to justify your decisions to people whose words are fueled by jealousy. If you announce your next move and you hear the disguised negativity, you don't argue. You don't try to explain or convince. You simply say, "I hear you," and then you move on. You don't give them the satisfaction of planting doubt in your head, because the moment you start defending your choices, you've already given them power over your confidence. Third, you need to protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams. Some women are not safe spaces, they are silent saboteurs. Learn to identify them and stop oversharing with them. Too many women kill their own vision by giving jealous people early access to it. Sometimes the best way to deal with envy is to starve it. Don't give it information to twist in the first place. Now I know what some will say, but what if she's right? What if I really am overreaching? That's the trap. Jealousy is effective because it plays on your insecurities. It sounds rational. It's wrapped in enough truth to make you second-guess yourself. That's why you have to separate genuine advice from silent aggression. Genuine advice empowers you. Even when it challenges you, it comes with support, solutions, or belief in your ability to rise. Jealousy, on the other hand, discourages you. It leaves you smaller, hesitant, and uncertain. If someone's concern makes you feel weaker instead of stronger, that's not advice, that's envy. Here's the tactical mindset. Jealousy is confirmation. It tells you you're doing something worth noticing. No one gets jealous of mediocrity. People get jealous when you rise, when you shine, when you step into spaces they're too afraid to walk into. So instead of letting envy break you down, use it as fuel. Let it be proof that you're on the right track. Every time you hear the disguised jealousy, translate it in your head. She's not doubting me, she's doubting herself. And finally, rise above, without apology. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Don't dim your ambition so someone else feels less insecure. That's how silent aggression wins. When you lower yourself to fit their limitations. You are not responsible for managing someone else's jealousy. You are responsible for living at your fullest potential. So the next time someone cloaks their envy and concern, see it for what it is. Smile if you need to. Thank them if you must. But don't take it in. Their disguised jealousy is not your truth. Your truth is your vision, your grind, your strength. And nothing is more threatening to silent aggression than a woman who refuses to be slowed down by it. Because here's the reality. Jealousy doesn't disappear, but it also doesn't have to define you. Let them whisper. Let them mask their envy with fake smiles and empty concern. While they're busy disguising their weakness, you'll be too busy building your power. That's how you win. That's how you rise. And that's how you make sure silent aggression never robs you of what you were meant to claim. Silent aggression doesn't always sound like words. Sometimes it looks like doors quietly shutting in your face. And one of the most common ways women use it against each other is through exclusion. You're not invited to the group dinner. Your name isn't on the email chain. The meeting starts without you. Or worse, you walk into a room and the conversation suddenly changes. Like you don't belong. That's not an accident. That's control. That's silent aggression disguised as, oh, we just forgot. Let's call it what it is. Exclusion is a power move. It's a way of saying, you don't matter here. You're not one of us. We get to decide your place. And too often, women fall into the trap of begging for that place back. They ask, why wasn't I included? Or can I come too? They shrink themselves to prove they're worthy of a seat at someone else's table. But here's the truth. If someone needs to exclude you to feel powerful, that's not a table worth fighting to sit at. Exclusion is effective because it plays on one of the deepest human fears, the fear of being left out. Humans are wired for belonging. Women, especially, are told that sisterhood is sacred, that inclusion is everything. So when other women quietly ice you out, it doesn't just sting. It cuts deep into your sense of identity. That's what makes it one of the most brutal forms of silent aggression. And that's why you must be trained to handle it with strength, not desperation. Here's how exclusion works strategically. It isolates you. If you're not in the conversation, you're not in the decision. If you're not in the room, your voice is silenced before it's ever heard. It undermines your confidence. Being consistently left out makes you question your worth. You start thinking, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe I don't belong. It consolidates their power. When others decide who gets access and who doesn't, they position themselves as gatekeepers, and gatekeeping is always about control, not merit. Now, here's the tactical reality. You cannot control whether people try to exclude you. But you can absolutely control how you respond, and your response determines whether exclusion weakens you or strengthens you. First rule, never beg for inclusion. The moment you start chasing their approval, you hand over your power. If they didn't value your presence, why fight to sit where you're not wanted? Power is not earned by begging. Power is earned by building your own space, so solid that others have no choice but to respect it. When you stop fighting for scraps of validation, you start commanding real respect. Second rule, separate exclusion from identity. Just because you were left out doesn't mean you're less capable, less worthy, or less powerful. It means the other person or group felt threatened. Remember this. People don't exclude what they don't fear. If you weren't a force, you wouldn't need to be shut out. Reframe exclusion as confirmation that you're shaking the ground beneath them. Third rule, build your own circle. Too many women waste years trying to force themselves into cliques, teams, or circles that will never fully accept them. Stop wasting energy begging for a chair at someone else's table. Build your own. Align with people who recognize your value without needing you to prove it every second. Silent aggression loses power when you stop depending on hostile circles for validation. Here's another tactical move. Use exclusion as fuel. If they don't invite you to the conversation, create one. If they don't recognize your work, amplify it yourself. In the workplace, for example, if you're iced out of meetings, start documenting your wins and sharing them directly with leadership. If your social circle sidelines you, redirect your focus into growth, new opportunities, or communities that elevate you. You don't waste time banging on closed doors. You build new ones that open wider. Now let's address the emotional sting. Because exclusion doesn't just block access, it hurts. It makes you feel invisible, unwanted, erased. That's real. But here's the tactical mindset. Don't give people the satisfaction of watching you break down. The most powerful response to exclusion is composure. When you act unbothered, even when you feel the sting, you send a message. You don't define me. You can't erase me. That silent strength dismantles their silent aggression. There's also a darker side to exclusion: deliberate sabotage. Women will sometimes leave you out not just to hurt you emotionally, but to strategically block your opportunities. That's why you must always stay alert. If you notice repeated patterns, meetings you're not informed about, opportunities slipping through, miscommunication, social gatherings where you're consistently ignored, it's time to draw the line. Call it out. Not with emotion, not with begging, but with facts. I noticed I wasn't included in this project. Going forward, I expect to be looped in. Direct. Professional. No apology in your tone. That's how you set the boundary. Here's the bigger truth. Exclusion is meant to make you smaller. But the most powerful women don't shrink when they're sidelined. They rise louder, stronger, and more unshakable. Every time you refuse to let exclusion define you, you take back control. Every time you build your own opportunities instead of waiting for someone to hand them to you, you flip the power dynamic. And eventually, the same people who tried to shut you out will have no choice but to watch you succeed without their permission. So remember this: exclusion is not the end of your story. It's a test. It's silent aggression designed to see if you'll crack under pressure. Don't. Use it as proof that you're a threat, that your presence matters, that your voice is strong enough to unsettle others, and then turn that silent aggression into your silent motivation. Because nothing is louder than a woman who rises where she was told she didn't belong. Here's the truth most people don't want to admit. Silent aggression thrives on your reaction. The women who throw backhanded compliments, who gossip, who disguise envy as concern, or who deliberately exclude you, they want one thing. They want you rattled. They want you defensive. They want you shrinking yourself so they feel taller. Their power doesn't come from the insult itself. Their power comes from how you respond to it. And this is where most women get trapped. They either explode, snapping back with anger, proving the aggressor right, or they fold, staying quiet, hoping the hostility will disappear on its own. But neither of those responses gives you power. One makes you look unstable, the other makes you look weak. The real power move: rising above without playing small. What does that mean? It means you don't lower yourself to their level, but you also don't allow their games to dictate your energy. You don't chase approval. You don't beg for inclusion. You don't spend your life explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Instead, you stand rooted in your own authority. You stay calm, composed, unshakable, because composure is intimidating. Silence is unnerving, and confidence without explanation, that's power on a level most silent aggressors can't handle. Let's be tactical. When someone throws a subtle insult, they're baiting you. They want you to react. They want you to get flustered or defensive. But when you look them dead in the eye, unfazed, and carry on like their words never pierced you, you strip them of their victory. They're left with nothing. That's how you rise above, not by pretending it didn't happen, but by refusing to give them the outcome they were fishing for. Now, some people confuse rising above with shrinking. They think it means staying quiet, swallowing disrespect, or being the bigger person while they keep getting stepped on. No, that's not rising. That's retreating. Rising above means you stay sharp, assertive, and clear, but you never drop down to pettiness. It means you address what needs to be addressed without letting it drag you into a mud fight. You enforce boundaries with strength, not with desperation. Think of it like this: when a storm comes, you don't lower yourself into the chaos, you rise above it, like a plane breaking through turbulence into clear skies. The storm is still there, but it doesn't control you anymore. That's how you deal with silent aggression. You acknowledge it, you protect your energy, and then you elevate. Here's another angle. Silent aggression often works by making you doubt yourself. When women face constant, subtle hostility, they start shrinking to avoid being targeted. They play small. They mute their confidence, downplay their wins, and keep their heads low to escape jealousy or gossip. But here's the truth. Playing small doesn't protect you. It only makes you invisible. And invisibility is exactly what silent aggressors want. For you to erase yourself so they don't have to. So let me be clear. Don't dim your light. Don't water down your strength. Don't act less capable, less ambitious, or less confident just to make someone else feel more comfortable. You don't rise by hiding. You rise by showing up fully, even when it unsettles others, especially when it unsettles others. If your success, your confidence, or your presence makes someone else uncomfortable, that's not your problem to solve. That's their insecurity to confront. Now, let's get practical. How do you rise above without playing small? Stay composed under pressure. When silent aggression comes your way, breathe. Pause. Hold eye contact. The less reactive you are, the more power you hold. Composure is louder than rage. Respond with authority, not emotion. If you need to address it, do it directly and calmly. That sounded like a put-down. Don't do that again. Short, clear, no explanation. Authority shuts down games. Refuse to compete in pettiness. They gossip, you don't. They exclude, you create. They disguise envy, you keep winning. Every time you choose elevation over retaliation, you prove they can't drag you down. Keep your focus forward. Don't waste time replaying the attack in your head. Redirect your energy into your goals, your growth, your wins. The best revenge isn't clapping back, it's building a life they can't touch. And here's the deeper truth. When you rise above, you become untouchable. Not because people stop trying to attack you, but because their attacks no longer land. They'll keep throwing shade, they'll keep whispering, they'll keep testing you, but instead of piercing your confidence, it just bounces off. Because your power isn't rooted in their approval anymore, it's rooted in you. Silent aggression between women is real. It's ugly, and it can eat away at your strength if you let it. But the antidote isn't lowering yourself into the same games. It's standing taller, speaking clearer, and refusing to shrink. It's living at such a level of composure and confidence that no whisper, no exclusion, no fake concern can derail you. So remember this, the most powerful move you can make is to stop needing permission. Stop needing validation. Stop needing inclusion. Rise above. Stay sharp. Play big. Because nothing dismantles silent aggression faster than a woman who refuses to play small, no matter who tries to silence her. Silent aggression between women is the fight no one wants to admit exists. We're told to smile, to stand together, to always support each other. But behind closed doors, the battlefield is real. The wounds don't always come from strangers or from men. They come from the women who sit next to you, who shake your hand, who hug you tightly while quietly cutting you down. That's the war that no one warns you about, and that's why you needed this message. Think about what we've uncovered. Silent aggression doesn't scream, it whispers. It doesn't attack directly. It disguises itself as humor, as gossip, as concern, as exclusion. It's backhanded compliments that feel like cuts. It's rumors spreading behind your back. It's envy hiding behind fake advice. It's being left out, erased, ignored. It's the constant games designed to chip away at your confidence, to make you doubt yourself, to force you into playing small. But here's the truth you cannot forget. Silent aggression only wins if you stay silent. It only thrives if you let it go unchecked. It only takes root if you internalize it and let it convince you that you are less than you are. That is the weapon. That is the strategy. And that is exactly why your counterattack must be different. You don't fight with equal pettiness. You don't waste your life chasing down every rumor or begging to sit at their tables. You don't hand over your energy by over-explaining or overreacting. No. You fight with composure. You fight with boundaries. You fight with the discipline to hold your head high and say, I see you, but you will not control me. The most powerful women aren't the ones who win every argument or clap back at every insult. They're the ones who cannot be broken down by whispers, the ones who don't flinch when excluded, the ones who recognize jealousy for what it is and never allow it to dictate their moves, the ones who know exactly who they are and never let silent aggression make them forget. So here's the challenge. The next time you hear a backhanded compliment, don't laugh it off. Stand tall. When gossip comes, don't chase it, starve it. When jealousy disguises itself as concern, don't absorb it. Reject it. And when they try to exclude you, don't beg to belong. Build your own table, because the ultimate power isn't proving them wrong. It's refusing to let them decide who you are in the first place. And I'll tell you this, rising above doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. It means you've mastered the art of not letting their weapons control your spirit. It means you stay sharp enough to see it, strong enough to face it, and composed enough to walk away unbothered. That's not weakness, that's elite strength. The silent aggression between women is not about friendship. It's not about sisterhood. It's about power. And the question you need to ask yourself is not, will I face it? Because you will. The real question is, when it comes, will it break me? Or will it make me stronger? The answer is yours.